debate. intelligencesquared.com.
Francis Outred from Christie's, who is the International Director of Post-War and Contemporary Art for Christie's and formerly of Sotheby's. And your 9 minutes starts now. Thank you.
Okay, well, first of all, I must say how delighted I am that I saw some hands go up there in favour of the art market. I was fully expecting to come here tonight, having read the blurb, as the sacrificial lamb, and just to see these sort of Roman emperors in front of me with their thumbs going like this. I stand here in a business suit, but I have to tell you that I am an impassioned art addict, and I have been for a very, very long time. And I'd like to start by giving you a little background to the way that I think today, and the reason why I will propose for the motion. My adventure in the art world began as a 14-year-old. After a serious accident, I went into the pottery studio at school and developed a very fond relationship with clay. Over a 2-year period, I was very close to my pottery teacher and really enjoyed the finer details of making clay sculpture and working in the form. Following that, for my A-level project, I studied Monet's views of London in the turn of the 19th, 20th centuries, and went to the Savoy Hotel and went to the very room that he painted his views from to get a real insight into the vision of this genius. And these are moments which were very, very important in my formation, in my interest in art. Following that, I went to Chelsea School of Art and studied painting. So I was formerly an artist, although I'm now on the dark side. And I went in there at the beginning of the 1990s when an art movement was gradually taking shape and form. And so I was a very keen witness of the development of an art movement, but also an art market that came along with it. And I still very fondly remember my first year at Chelsea when I went into the studios and the smell of oil paint really enlivened me. I absolutely was given complete creative freedom, carte blanche, to work in any way that I felt was right. And I developed a deep emotional attachment to what I was doing and a deep intellectual understanding of what I was doing. The library at Chelsea, I'm not sure many of you here are from Chelsea, but the library at Chelsea at that time was amongst the very best libraries in Britain for the field of 20th century art. And I devoured the books there and painted alongside that, whilst visiting galleries and museums and auction houses, funnily enough, as well, to see the very best art that was available to me. As a result of that, many long debates developed over very long nights in the pub, at art galleries, and with my colleagues, with my teachers, with those around me in the art world, people that I encountered at private views, and we would debate art till the cows came home. And I developed an incredible interest in having these debates, and I really enjoyed them. But we would just keep talking and talking and talking, and there would be not really very much conclusion. This carried on into my career as a curator for 3 or 4 years, when I worked on a few museum shows, and a similar attitude. You know, where do you place works of art? How do you make works of art? What is the basis for them? For every argument, there was a counter-argument, and we could never really come up with a proper, finite solution. This developed my working in the curating field. I began to sell works of art, and I developed an interest in the sales strategy and how we worked, and meeting collectors and seeing how collectors made very definitive statements about what they wanted to buy. And that statement was by putting a check on the table. And for me, that became a statement of intent about a work of art, which really, in many ways, helped me to develop my interest in moving into the auction house. As I said, I'd always gone to the auction houses since I was a student, to see the best art, and I felt like it was the obvious next step for me was to go and experience that. And so that's a little background to my where I am today. I find now that we can still discuss art. I still enjoy discussing art, but I find that the hammer somehow delivers a final judgment on a work of art. And whether we like it or not, whether we believe it or not, it is a reality. The 21st century, we are in a post-capitalist society in which the market is very much a part of every single aspect of our society, whether it be hospitals, schools, the football transfer market. It invades every single part of our society, and it exists because we believe in it. The market is made up of the people who create it, and it is very much a very strong part of what we do today. The positives of this in the art market are that any artist who will come to the fore in their lifetime. We are no longer in the period where Van Gogh will die in his garret, uncelebrated, unknown, and be picked up on a few years later. Artists now have the opportunity to live comfortably. They can be ambitious with their ideas. They can come and make works for spaces like this, and they have carte blanche to really express themselves. They can be ambitious with their financial outgoings, and they can really push their art to the very end of its possibilities. And so that, as a result of that, the artists who are in the market today, there's a much larger chance today that those artists will be a part of history in the future than they were in the 19th and 20th centuries. The other thing I want to say is that I think what surrounds this situation is that throughout the 20th century, two things happened. First of all, critical judgment became very difficult for the very reasons I discussed about my time at Chelsea. Particularly after the war, but before that, the fragmentation of theories, philosophies, ideas, materials, cultures that that artists could use in their art, made it very difficult to attach an exact judgment to the way a composition should be, the way a technique should be used, the way that philosophy should be applied. So, in many ways, I'm afraid, Ossian, your role now is much reduced. As much as I want to look after the chair of this situation, I have to tell you that. And so I think criticism still has a role to play, but is no longer the role that it had in the late 19th century and 20th century onwards. The second thing is that we are now living in a world where the internet and travel take us all over the world. There's an art circus now that travels all over the world to see the various art biennials, the art fairs, the auctions that take place, and people can experience art from all corners of the globe. And as a result of that, the defining theory of the 21st century is globalization. And we see countries that are taking part in that, like China, Iran, Brazil, who don't have critical structures in place, and they depend on the art market to know this. So what I'm saying to you is that in 2011, the global art world involves all people from all walks of life, and it involves intellectuals to amateurs, and everybody has a say in this, and that is a market. And for that, I believe that the art market is created by the artists, the galleries, the museums, the auction houses, and the world at large that create an art market. And that is whether you like it or not, and whether I believe it or not, it is a fact in our 21st century society. Thank you.
Thank you.